Hi everybody and welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Flynn and we would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we are streaming from today and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'm so excited. I'm here with the fantastic Najihah Najlaa. It's so great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us on Adobe Live.
Thank you so much, Flynn and Adobe Live for having me. Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world, I would say.
That's exactly right. Yep. So we've got some of our American friends probably joining in. Here in Australia, it is 12 o'clock. It is a lunchtime stream. For you, you are in Malaysia. Are you in Kuala Lumpur?
Yeah, I'm in Kuala Lumpur. I am in Kuala Lumpur in the city. Malaysia, I'm from Malaysia. You guys can call me Najihah or Naj or whatever that you think easy for you to pronounce. I understand it's quite difficult in a way. It's actually around 9 a.m. in the morning. So if you guys are Malaysian or watching this, thank you so much for joining. I know it's can be like a busy day. Today is a Tuesday. You guys may be like busy commuting to your office and stuff because I think everybody just like back to normal with work and all after the lockdown. So yeah, I hope if you guys are like a fellow Malaysians watching this, say hi on the on the chat box so that I know you guys like watching. And also from people that are outside of Malaysia, I really appreciate your time for spending I think about an hour here with me and Flynn to talk about like, you know, doing some stuff in Premiere Pro, and I just hope you guys enjoy it.
That's it. Exactly. Fantastic. And the live chat that we're using today is at behance.net/live, which if you're already over on Behance, but if you happen to be watching on YouTube, you're watching live over there, jumping over to Behance. If you want to say hi, wherever you are in the world tuning in, we'll also take questions and things like that. Lots to cover, lots to talk about, creating impactful videos. How do you do it? And how does Naj do it as well? I took the short version. Thanks for the out. I'm going to say Naj if that's okay. So
it's fine.
Pronouncing correctly. We are live, so I'll try my best. We got Johanna looking after us in chat as well, sharing some really great links. There's lots of useful links that we're going to be covering today. What's up, Panda? We also have Alessandra here. It's wonderful to have you. Tara, what's up? Yeah, so let us know where you're tuning in from on this lovely day. But for those who aren't familiar with your work and what you do, I've had a great time getting to know your work through this Adobe Max experience. So we're 1 week out from Max. Naj has done a fantastic video for us for Max, a video on video, pre-recorded and everything. We actually kind of covered this months ago, quite interestingly. A lot of the breakout sessions were filmed and recorded months and months ago. I think we originally started chatting in like April or something, so it's been a long time coming, and her video is one of the most subscribed to videos of the entire Adobe Max, not just in Asia Pacific, but in the world, which is incredible. Very exciting.
I'm very like stoked knowing that. I was like, I don't even have that much of followers on my socials. Like, I don't know where that people are coming from. Honestly, I keep like racking my mind. Was like, hey, like 10,000 of registrations, like no way. I mean, I don't know, but I really hope that you guys will enjoy my Max session. I kind of like put a lot of effort to it. It was like kind of a 1 month kind of works. I think I did and complete the producing that video in August. It was one of my busiest months ever. There's a bunch of things I have to do. At the same time, we have to push for the Max. We have to push for the deadlines and stuff. And of course, Flynn and Carolina has been really helpful in making sure that we all like stay in the timeline and stuff. And I just like, I think that was one of my best yet produced things ever I did in my life. So I'm really excited for everyone to see that during my Max session.
Yeah, that's awesome. We'll share a link with that in chat. I'm sure Johanna will have that ready to roll, and you can check it out and you can register for that. But you know, off the back of the like massive success of the amount of people that have signed up to this, we thought Naj and I chatting about this live stream we were planning on doing, just kind of unpack it a little bit more, spend a little bit of time, because the breakout sessions are 25 minutes, so you get a nice, really fantastic overview, and it's incredible. But you get a little bit of a sneak peek today. Maybe you can ask some questions as well, and because we'll be using the same sort of the same project as kind of a jumping off point. But let's get stuck into who you are and what you do. You do so many things: photographer, editor. You teach people and train people into using like a lot of Adobe products and storytelling. You're Adobe certified instructor. You do live streaming. Like, it's pretty incredible what you do. So I'll let you kind of, how do you explain what you do to people who don't know what you do when you have so many things that you cover?
Okay. My name is Najihah Najlaa. You can call me Naj. I'm Adobe certified expert, at the same time a trainer and also instructor. I've been like teaching for the past 5 years. It was like a lot of quite a journey, I would say. But I started my journey as a student when I was doing final year, joining, competing in Adobe Worldwide Championship, Design Championship. It was like ACA Championship. That was the first one they did in Malaysia. So I was the first runner-up. And then from there, my journey with Adobe started, and then I got offered to become a trainer. I got my certifications. I teach at Adobe Authorized Training Center in Malaysia. We have one in Cyberjaya under UFEXCO. And then now I am freelance myself, doing photography, videography. I have my own clients. I have my own company where I do all of my corporate event, wedding stuff, and also content for my clients. And I am now an independent trainer. My company is a training provider, so we provide trainings for the corporates. We also help students and also people out there who want to take certifications for Adobe. Before this, we call it Adobe Certified Associate, but now Adobe has rebranded to Adobe Certified Professional. So I kind of like helping people to prep to get the certificates, so that because I know how tough was it when I was taking that in the first time. I couldn't find a good resources to help me out in taking that certificate. So now I have the gist of how it works, what kind of things that you should prep and stuff. So I help them to get certifications in terms of that. So if you listen, hear me saying la la la, is actually one of the slang that we use a lot in Malaysia, but I would try to minimize that.
What is it, la la la? Like you're just kind of etc. or something? What does it mean?
Yeah, it's like, it's how you can end a sentence in a way to make it more casual,
right,
instead of like the way you say right. So it's the same thing we have
right.
it in Malaysia. La, okay la, all right, like that.
I love it. I didn't know that. See, checking it out, learning already. That's super cool. Well, why don't we jump over to your screen, check out some of the places people can find you online, and then we'll jump into some Premiere Pro magic. So I'm just going to share your screen now. Let's check this out. And there you are. So this is your website?
Yeah, this is my website. You guys can go to najihahnajlaa.com. I have all of my online training over there, my webinars that I do weekly most of the time when I have free time and stuff. And also I have a shop where I sell my presets, Lightroom preset that I created using the Lightroom for desktop and also for mobile. And also this is my website, my company website, Lifetime Project. You guys can see a bunch of my previous work that I did for my clients. We have a bunch of for product and all. I have my own team that helped me out creating all of these pieces and all of this, amazing stuff that we have over here. And I also actively streaming on Behance for the past over a year already. I remember I started streaming on Behance. It was May or June last year. And now looking back, I was already on this platform streaming for over a year. It was an amazing journey. I met a lot of amazing creators out there, not just from Malaysia, but from around the world. We have chat, we kind of exchange ideas, perspective and stuff. I really love hanging out on Behance. And the fact that one of my friends used to say that I was kind of a very close and quiet kind of person, but when I start streaming, I get to get out of my shell, and I think I able to speak up more and also talk more. I become more open since I do live streaming on Behance. So I think Behance kind of like get the best out of me in a way. So being here on Behance like over a year, it was like an amazing experience for me. So yeah, and you guys can also check me out on my social media. I kind of active on my Instagram. I also have like some of the pages just for educational stuff, some of the tutorials that I post, or any webinars, any trainings that I did. You guys can also check it out. I have like a few pages. You guys can always like see in my bio and just like click and check it out.
That's awesome. Yeah, so there you go. You're everywhere. So that's fantastic. And you also have lots of cats as well. Notice some of your cats making stuff on the stream.
Sorry for that, guys.
No, it's cool.
Cannot
I love it.
face them.
Fans of cats here for sure. Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, so much to check out. But let's jump into some Premiere Pro today and the project that this was about. So can you give us a little bit of a overview of what this project was?
Oh, technically for I promise I kind of like, because I can see there's a lot of people registering for my session, and I think it would be good for me to just like give a bit of the gist of what kind of film or video or things or content that I'm about to share on my Adobe Max. So whatever you guys are seeing right now on the screens is literally the project file that I use for my Adobe Max. You can see I even name it my sequence as Adobe Max. So this is like the whole, it's not like the whole thing. Of course, when I was producing the Max video, I kind of like mixed with me talking. There's like an A-roll and also some insert shots and stuff. But it's like the main content of the video that I'm about to share on Adobe Max. But of course, I'm not going to give away all of it. If not, you guys wouldn't be looking forward for my Max session. So I want to make sure you guys, excited and also looking forward to it as much as I do. But I'm just gonna show you just like a gist of some of it, maybe just some intro, couple of seconds, all of that, just to make sure you guys excited, just to make you guys excited to see the Max video.
Okay, cool.
So technically what we have
I'll turn my music down now, just in case we're going to play some stuff.
Thank you so much, Flynn. So I'm just going to show you some. You guys can see my screen clearly, right?
Yep, we got it.
Make it white. No, I'm just going to keep it that way.
I think you guys can hear that. Let me know if you can hear it.
Children are really suffering from the war. The first target of victims would be children and women. It is heartbreaking.
Macam heart tu macam crush.
Okay, that's all you guys got. That's all I can give.
It's very emotional as well. It's been a couple of weeks since I've seen it. Like it really it really hits you. Like this whole thing. And again, we won't give it all away, of course. Save some of the stuff for Max. But yeah, like it genuinely. Oh, thank you, Anna. You mentioned that you could hear it, so that's great. Genuinely, like very emotional, like approach to storytelling. Which of course is the intention. You're intending to make me and us, the audience, elicit emotions from something in a way that only kind of video can really do, with sound and audio and how it's edited together in a story that's been crafted. So yeah, it's very impactful.
Thank you so much. I cannot stress enough how many times I was like reviewing this and trying to make sure that if the audience is able to take away the same feelings and emotions as how I try to craft it. It was a challenging moment for me to trying to put it together. I kind of like stay for like straight 14 hours finishing this piece before the deadline. So it was like kind of very challenging for me, but I love how it turns out. I hope you guys also love how it will turns out during the Adobe Max. So for today's session, I was thinking like maybe I can like try to like it's not like recreating this video. It's just like this is just like only some part of it, but I have also some of the part of the interviews and the content that actually can also make as a micro or content for the impactful videos. So maybe we're gonna use other interviews and also use other content just to try to almost like mimic the same kind of video for my Adobe Max. But of course, the purpose for this video is actually just, I experienced this when I was like shooting this documentary, like mini documentary for a humanitarian mission when I was in Jordan. There was like a 3 years kind of project. So we went on 2017, 2018, and also 2019. And then we didn't go for 20 and 21 because of the COVID and stuff. So it has been a while since I did this kind of thing. So when I was like trying to get back editing this for Max, I believe I want to bring this out to the world. I want people to see what's happening, how I experienced it, because I think it's very important for people to know their stories. And I think I have that responsibility for me to carry that and brings it to the world. So that kind of thoughts that I have when I was creating the Adobe Max videos at the time this film. And maybe some of you will find it a little bit disturbing and stuff, but I think it's not about that. It's more about the actual real life condition of what's happening there. And I'm glad that Adobe didn't like censor that part. I believe, right? So
yeah, no,
because I really want people
censored.
yeah, that's good, because I was like worried when I was like submitting. I was like, are they gonna censor that part? Are they gonna like cut off some of my stuff? Like I was worried because I really want to show it as this piece, as the whole piece. So I'm really glad Adobe really take it as in positive way, and also like try to also brings out my story exactly how I want it. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. So as you can see, the timeline that I have here, there's like, it can be really messy, but I don't think there's a lot of tracks that I use. It was just like less than 10 tracks, as you can see in my timeline over here. I have like six tracks for my audio, and also I have I think 10 or 11 tracks for my, or it's actually a lot for my videos, of course.
Yeah, Anna in chat, yeah, that timeline looks intense. Yeah, this can look very intimidating on the outside looking and not understanding like kind of what everything is.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I will try my best to break it down to you guys so you guys can understand what's happening over here. But of course, even though this is just like, I think a 2 minutes, like 2 minutes and 40-second video, but you can always like try to cramp it and add more like effects and also sound effects and audio. I think I experimenting a lot with my sound effect when I was doing this. I add sound effects, some of the Foley, and I play but not so much on the visual effect, but I did add on some titles and also some of the typewriting stuff that I did in After Effects, but we will not be covering that because I don't think we have enough time for that.
It's a whole nother stream. Yeah.
That will be a whole nother streams, I hope. Yes. So I'm gonna jump right into how I started my process, in case you guys like wondering how I first, when I have like zero timeline. But of course, first thing first, when you are like jumping into Premiere Pro, you gotta know on how to set up your project. I know if some of you already like know on how to handle or process post-production in Premiere Pro. I know you guys already know how Premiere Pro works. Some of you may be like still new, not knowing how this software works and stuff. But I think the first thing first, when I teach people also, I always mention the fundamental thing about like video editing is you have to understand how to set up your project properly. Because if you don't set up your project properly, you will having a problem with like, you know, some errors that you couldn't understand, maybe some of the like, you know, like crashing and stuff, and you'll be like, why I cannot import these shots, why it's not reading my videos, all of that. So in order for you to understand the error that's coming in later, if in case you have it, is you have to understand how to set up the project file in the first place. So I think it's very crucial for you to know on how to set up the project. I will not like go deep and stuff. I will just like going to touch on the most important things that I always mention, even though when I'm teaching also to my students, things that you have to highlight and also keep in mind. But of course, first thing first, you have to rename the project. I already renamed this project as my Adobe Max Live project, so I'm not going to touch on that. And of course, the renderer, some people keep on asking, which one should I pick? Which one should I pick? It's always best to keep on using the graphic cards, which is your GPU, because it's going to speed up your rendering process. And there are times when you like encountering error when you are like doing the rendering, you can always switch it back to software only. But one thing about doing this is when you do like software only options, when you are using this software only option, is it's going to take so much time for Premiere Pro to render it for you. Example, if 10 minutes video, I can render in 3 minutes if I use my GPU, example. based on your computer performance, obviously. But if I change it to software only options, maybe it can take an hour for Premiere Pro to render that 10 minutes video.
Right.
So it kind of like very depending on your computer performance, obviously. This is the thing that I always touch, and also make sure people select the right one for the renderer. And of course, the scratch disk. I like to keep, I'm using SSD for my local C drive, and also for most of my project. I have like a 2 tera or 4 tera kind of SSD. And I like to keep my scratch disk or my cache same as my project, so that whenever you have your project in your SSD, you know it's going to load up faster. And then when you have all of your assets that related to that project in that same SSD, it's going to find it faster for you, and it's going to speed up your workflow in terms of like you importing, and also in terms of like you trimming, and also in terms of you like switch on like the Premiere Pro in the first place. So I like to have a really like fast workflow when I'm working, because sometimes when you like working, right, you have this creative juice flowing. And when I'm like doing my stuff, I like to be in like that box of time. So I will keep my focus in it. I think people who watch my streams know I can stream 4 hours straight doing a video, right, because I like to be in that state. Because the fact that when you started with a 0 timeline, and then you keep on adding some stuff, and you'll be like, hey, why not if I do this? You're able to keep on experimenting, and you like how it turns out in like, sometimes you imagine different things, but it turns out different ways, sometimes better. So I like that how to say, like, process, you know, and it's kind of like very satisfaction, brings satisfaction for me in a way. So I will keep all of my scratch disk and cache stuff same as project, where I put my project file, obviously. And I didn't use ingest settings for this project because I didn't shoot in 4K. I was just like shooting this project in full HD 1980. One thing about this project is the humanitarian project that I did, I am the one who shot that. I have an assistant with me once in a while, and also I produce it, I edit it. Technically, I involve from A to Z when it comes to the process of making this video. So one thing about, before this, I started myself as an editor first. I don't even know on how to operate the camera. But then when I learned, like, there are times when you, as an editor, you have a visualize that you, imagination that you want to create. And sometimes the videos that, or resources that you got, it didn't really like how do I say, like, a part at how you imagined it. So that's when I started to learn on how to shoot myself. That's when I got my first camera, and then I was like, okay, now I'll have these things I want to do. I'm going to shoot the way I want it. So I like the idea of me involved the whole process when I was doing this kind of thing. So because I learned a lot. I learned about camera settings. I learned about camera handling. I learned about what kind of format, what kind of camera, what kind of settings should I use, like this color, this highlights. I learned a lot of stuff. Everything's like self-taught, but the fact that you're able to pick up and also learn, and also you're able to help people at the same time and share your experiences, was like, I think it's amazing to have that, honestly.
And does that help you like work within teams, because you understand like the other roles a bit more? So if you're directing, or if you're working as an editor with a, you know, videographer, or, you know, camera person, or working with sound, you have a bit more of an understanding of everything in the process, not just kind of your part in the timeline.
Your part, yes, that's true. So that we can always advise each other and be like, hey, can you please shot in this format? Can you please shot in this dimension and stuff? It's easier for me to edit in later on and stuff. So we can like have these communications. We don't have like a language barrier, because we understand the terms and stuff. So I think it's easier. If in case if you guys are watching this, you guys are an editor, try to like just like learn a bit, like have more knowledge on the shooting process as well, because I believe it's going to help you in understanding your project better. And also when you receive the resources from different kind of camera, different kind of shooters, every shooters have their own style of shooting, you know. And if you guys like stick with the same theme, you will understand his or her style, and then you know how to work on with that project coming from that person. So I think I like the process when it comes to, like, you know, involving from shooting into editing and then producing it as a whole.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, and then this is I already like set up the project. That's how I set up my project most of the time. And also I will jump into sequence. Sequence is actually one of the things that you have to create when you first started with your videos. It's like a box. We don't have example. It's like I call it a box because a sequence is a place where you can put your stuff in. In order for you to put the stuff in, you need to have a proper box, and you have to understand the box that you guys are creating. What kind of settings that can fit with the stuff that you are about to fit in, like to fill in. So I normally start with my sequence with HDV. I already have my custom preset for my basic videos, for my IGTV, for my reels and all. But normally I will start with HDV, and because we are in Southeast Asia, I think I use PAL. I didn't use NTSC, so I keep it 50 FPS.
That's always an interesting
25.
thing, isn't it? Like depending on the region, like often it has like different things. I think the US is 30 frames
60.
or something in here, or 60 frames, 60 and 30, and for some reason we're like 29.7 or something like that in Australia. And so it is quite interesting and really useful and important to learn like what's the final output going to be and work backwards, obviously from there whenever possible.
True, because it depends on where you're going to project that film, based on the country where you are. Because every country I did some research and reading about this one. I can be very nerdy and also technical sometimes, because as an instructor, you have to do that, because there are sometimes students that asking you this kind of questions, and you need to have that knowledge to explain and break it down for them in a way. Based on based on what I read, it was like it depends on the source of the power socket and stuff like coming from that country. That's why they have this kind of a different hertz, like current power in something. That's why every country have different. So in order for you to project in that country, you have to use the specific settings in your camera. But I think it wouldn't be like a major difference. It's just like, I think just maybe minor, but not so much. But I think it depends. Some people just like go all the way 60 or 30 even though they are in Malaysia. But I think I'm just gonna keep using 25 and 50 because I think it's the same. The ratio is almost the same, just like half. Okay, and then for this one, I just gonna keep like using HDV 1080p 25. And of course, you can rename your sequence however you want. I already have my Adobe Live sequence over there. And then when it comes to the settings, you guys can have this. And also, okay, this one I all leave it by default, unless if you want to change my frame rates based on how you want to process your sequence, your box. But I like to keep this one unchecked. The composite in linear color, this one, I like to keep it unchecked because technically these things, if you keep it checked, it's going to take so much of your performance of your computer. So technically, example, if you want to make sure that you have a more smoother workflow when you edit the video, you can keep this one unchecked. Because this thing, you can always try to check it back to maximize the render quality at the end of the video when you are about to export that.
Okay, interesting.
So this is thing like, I think this is one of the tips that I also get from, I think, other filmmakers when I was like watching their live or watching their session and stuff. I think I like to just like, keep in mind with the tips and tricks. And I think it's very beneficial. And since I'm like switched this one off, it kind of like helped with my effects that I did. It wouldn't like easily crash like before, I would say.
Right.
So I just like keep it unchecked for this one. And then the rest, you just like keep it by standard. You can always like add more tracks whenever you edit the videos later on in the timeline. So just keep it like that. So that's the only way that I always touch. That's the only thing that I always touch when it comes to like setting up my sequence. So I'm not gonna create again because I already have one over here that I name as Adobe Live. And when I first started, of course, I check on of these, like I have my rulers, I have my odometer, all of my panels, the essential one, I already have it in my timeline. Normally I will work with like a longer timeline because I have a wider screen. So I will like drag all the way like until the end of the screen because I like to work with a longer timeline, but because I want to make sure you guys can see other stuff, so I just keep it this way. Should be fine. And of course, when I was like first started thinking what kind of like approach that I should use when I was creating the Adobe Max film was I watched a bunch of inspo and also some other creator stuff as well on Vimeo, I don't know how to pronounce it. But I like the fact that whatever that they have in there is kind of like in high quality, well produced, and you can see a lot of like technique and also styling in filmmaking that I learned a lot, and I like to watch that. And I kind of like, and recently before when I was like creating in the midst of creating the Adobe Max video, that was the time when Black Widow movie got released. And did you guys watch the Black Widow movie? Have you guys watched it?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's fine. It's one of the most interesting Marvel that I watched. I like that movie so much. But one thing about the movie, it's not the movie itself. It's just like the open credit. If you guys want to watch it, you guys can always go to YouTube and search for the open credit for the Black Widow. I got inspired on how I created the opening of my videos this part.
Okay, cool. That's really interesting. Like taking inspiration from like other videos. Like you wouldn't think something like from Marvel over into like, you know, a video like this, because you wouldn't think they would necessarily relate. But from a graphical, you know, pace and typographic kind of treatment, you can kind of get inspiration from anywhere.
That's true. It was just like when you watch that, I mean, Marvel always really good about open credit, also end credit. They have like amazing thing doing that for them, working with them. And I was like watching that Black Widow open credit, I was like inspired. I like the fact that when they like with the music is one thing, and also the fact that they are focusing on the important things. Even though you watched it without any explanation, without any dialogue, you can understand what's happening in that scene.
Right.
So it's intrigued me in a way that, I want to have this open credit as well. But of course, I cannot have it like the way Marvel did it. But I just like take the gist of it and start with some vibe of like suspense, intense, a bit of like, I'm introducing you to something, so you guys should stick with this one. After 3 seconds, watch that intro, and then just like create the hook of my film so that people stay to watch that films. Honestly, I kind of like break down all of this process in Adobe Max, so you guys should watch it. That's definitely all right. So I started after that. Once I have the idea of how I wanna like put my stuff together, you can always, there's a lot of essence in editing. You can start with the end, the output first. You can put in front first, or you can start with the first thing that you saw and that you review in your from your footages. You can just simply like put the whole scene in one timeline and start trimming and start trimming.
Right.
So there's a lot of workflow that you guys can start from. And I literally, my workflow when I was doing this, because I don't know yet my approach, I want to take which angle, I literally like review the whole 4 terabyte of footages that I have in my disk.
And do you do that within Premiere Pro, or do you just like select all the files and just sit there and watch them like in the file finder or something like that?
I have it open, obviously, like this one example, because I already like rename all of my drive. So I know, example, when I listen to this interview, the first thing first, I take out the interview part. Because example, if you're like shooting a film, you will follow the screenplay and also the script. That's your storyline, right? But because this is not a film, it's not planned, it's not a scripted content. It's actually based on someone's experience, based on how they tell the stories. So I have to listen to that interview. So that's why the first thing first, I take out all the interviews. You can see I did some chopping already. And of course, one thing that I like about Premiere Pro 2021 is because they have this transcribed caption features. They just released, I think, June this year. It was like a life-saving features ever. I hate caption before. It was like, oh my God. How, like example, if you want to like edit like 1 hour videos or 1 hour show, you have to just like, you know, do one by one kind of things. But now
like
they have
manually type it out and things like that.
Yes, it takes time consuming, you know. But now they have these tags functions, and you can just simply select that video, example, half an hour interview, and just simply press transcribe, and it will just transcribe all of your captions. And example, if the speaker speak in a native English, Premiere Pro did a really amazing job in translating that and also transcribe that. And I think I don't really have a lot of things to fix when it comes to like the text when the speaker is speaking in English. Example, this interviewee, she speaks in English, so which is good for me. I mean, I don't have to like, you know, if she speaks in Malay, then I have to translate and I have to retype the whole thing again. Which is like, you know,
existence. the sense of existence for the child.
So you can see
It's
the
like,
tags.
it's as though the world doesn't see that they exist. So imagine you existing and imagine that nobody sees you as a person. So I think that part, I think, is quite sad.
So I will sit through, like take all of the interviews and put it in timeline and watch and listen one by one to the content, and I will do some marking. As you can see, I have a mark over here. You can press M to mark where you want to start to take that content. And I also at the same time will take a note. I always have this notebook on my desk so that whenever I have this idea, oh, I like this angle, I will just like jot it down. So example for this interview, right? I like it the fact that first she mentioned about the sense of existence of a child. I think that one is important because I'm about to create a video which is for like creating impactful videos. So I have to find an issue or something, the points that actually impactful for me. Which part that actually like impacting my life, which part actually the issues that I think matters that I want to like bring out. So you have to decide that your own, because this is your way of presenting the stories, their way of experiencing that this kind of experience, but your own narrative, you know, which angle that you want to take and also tell their stories. So I will listen to this and also we take notes on which part that I think important. So I think for this one, for this interview specifically, I like the fact that when she mentioned about the sense of existence for the child. Because when I was shooting this humanitarian, when I was like following them, you can see the children is like almost have no future because they don't know what's happening with them, because they have been like, you know, war at a very early age, and you know, they don't even know the reason why they exist, like how should they live or like lead their life in a way. So I think this point is really crucial for me to take in my videos when I'm about to create an impactful, because I want to say that it's very the war impacting the children, so that they don't even think that they have a future, or they don't even think if they have a life to lead and to live, you know, that kind of thing. So I will listen and I will jot down. That's my first point that I like. And then I will listen
and
more.
Imagine that nobody sees you as a person.
Nobody sees you as a person, which is that's what's happening. Because people who needs aids, sometimes people like us, like normal, we tend to see them as someone who just need help, not as a person, as a human being. We just see them as something or a condition that we need to help, but not as a person that needs like the same life like the way we live our life. So it's all about perspective and how you wanna like, you know, project the essence of the story.
That part I think is quite sad, but with the help that the Malaysian people have extended, giving them winter clothes, new winter clothes, not secondhand, not hand-me-downs.
So this one, when she mentioned about the Malaysian people that help, so I was imagining like, oh, I'm gonna put some shots where we have the Malaysian flag, we have the donors giving the aids for the children. So I want to put that so that people see, oh, this is the people that giving help and also providing aids for the children and the people who needs them. And then she mentioned also here about the winter clothes. So this is the mission that we went, I think 2018 during the winter mission. So we gave like winter clothes, which is, some people think like, oh, just give food. Sometimes it's not the food that they need. Maybe they have enough of food pack already, but they just want to have some essential stuff like the heater, like the winter clothes, like the blankets, like a proper tent, because they kind of like live in the camp in the desert with no proper concrete and buildings. So it's very, very cold, I would tell you. I was like, when I was shooting, it's like super cold. So this is the thing that I think people should know about. Like when you handing an aid, you should know the right aids or the right kind of help, the right needs that they need. It's not just bluntly giving them stuff.
Right.
So we did our research, we collect the data, we kind of like visit them, we ask questions, we make sure that we are giving them the exactly things that they need.
Not hand-me-down.
I think that one also part of
the great
things that I want to
They
highlight
felt
in this
very
video.
appreciated. They were so extremely happy. It was
Emotions here, you see, extremely happy. She mentioned about sad just now, one emotions, and second she mentioned about being happy. So all of these, example, if I the one that shoot the video, so I have a visual in my mind. Oh, I remember I was shooting this part when this kid was crying. Oh, I remember I was shooting this part where the kids was so happy eating the lollipop and stuff. So you have that memories in you, And the only thing that you need right now is just like go back to your drive and dig it and find it. That's the challenge right now.
Back to the lab, back into research mode. Yeah.
Yes, that's the thing. So I will like spend hours sometimes just like to find the right expressions that I need to be used for this insert, to insert in between of this interview part.
Really happy. It was like Hari Raya gifts for them, because
Hari Raya over here means it's like a festive season in Malaysia. It's like after Ramadan, it's like a Muslim celebrations. So normally during Raya we give
for them
presents. It's like a Christmas, I would say.
Yeah.
So you give presents to your kids, to your
lives,
your parents.
Receive.
I don't want to stop your flow because I'm just sitting back here watching. But we did have a couple of questions, which if it's okay, we'll just take a few minutes to get some of these questions because we've only got 15 minutes left. I told you it goes very fast. There was a question earlier about what drew you to video production in the first place.
What? Sorry.
What drew you to video production in the first place? Like what got you interested in it?
I think I am still a very quiet person, and I'm not really good in expressing my emotions. But I really quite sensitive in a way when I see something that touch my heart. But I don't know how to express it in words. I'm not really good in writing. I'm not really good in speaking. But I think I have these visuals and imaginations that I feel, and also I think music also play a big part in how I say in surfacing that emotions. So that's when I first start learning on how to edit and producing videos, because I want to tell my stories from my narrative in my own ways so that you guys feel the same thing that I feel. Like that's why whenever I create videos, I make sure I'm really satisfied with it, not just in terms of like the visual effects or whatever. I'm not trying to impress you guys or anyone, my audience, in that sense. I'm just want to tell that this is how I feel when I was like shooting this, when I was doing this, and these emotions. I think it's really like, if it touched my heart, I wanna it touch your heart as well. So if I can take away these emotions when I was watching this film, I want you guys to feel the same way, because that exactly the feelings and emotions that I feel when I was watching a really good film. And you will like be like mesmerized with the director, with the screenwriter, and be like, how they create this amazing film and make me feel this way. They don't even know me. I think it's like very magical, that moment. And I want people to feel the same thing when they watch my films or when I was like producing something. I mean, that's the goal. So once I think it started from there, because I'm not really good in showing it. So I transfer all of that things and learn skills so that I can project that emotions to people, because I believe we need to project our emotions, but maybe everybody has different ways of projecting that.
Wow, that's a fantastic answer. Talk about you're not good at doing that. You're very eloquent in talking about like the why and why you do what you do. One more question, then we'll get back on track. What's the best thing about being a founder of your own company?
Oh, I love this question. I have my own time, Che. I'm kidding. Of course, it was a really tough decision. It's risky. When I first started, of course, I have my own saving. I have like my own plan. You need to have a plan whenever you want to go lone wolf. So, or like want to go like on your own, you need to have a plan. It's not something that impulsive decisions. You have to think a lot. You have to ask some of your close friends, think about what they think. But I am the one that not really listen so much or get easily influenced by people or trend. I'm more like I'm listening to my heart. I listen to my heart, and also I think rationally, and also try my best to just like do what's best for me. I always go for, people would say like, follow your passion. It's not just about that. It's more about do something that you enjoy and try to keep doing it more. So I think I try to project that at the same time with your like intention, like why you want to do this? Oh, I want to help people. Why you want to do this? I want to make sure people can see or feel or able to learn from this, the way I learn from this. So it's go back to your intention. And I think, like example, my intention, if I lead my own life, like leading my own company, doing my own stuff, I'm able to control the outcome sometimes, and also control how I want to project that idea. So yeah, but of course I work with some of the people, with teams, or collaborate with other people as well, but I think I am more like on a work on my own kind of things.
Yeah.
It depends on your personality also, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's
and
great.
Discipline is important.
Yes. There's no one else to blame when you're out by yourself, is there?
True. That's true.
Okay, so we got about 10 minutes left. This is part 1 of part 2, so we have lots of time on Thursday as well to kind of pick up from there. But yeah, getting back to it.
At the situation of children and
yeah. So once, I think I'm just gonna take these 3 parts because I already like create notes on these 3 parts. So I'm just gonna cut this one. Press C to cut, and of course once like you already like familiar with Premiere Pro, you're gonna start doing things faster with your shortcut keys and all. So I will always have that ready to go. So I'm just going to copy this. Okay, one thing about copying this, right? Have you guys heard about the pancake timeline? I think that one's very famous. The pancake timeline, where example, if I want to take this one, right, I can always just like select this and then copy it, Control C, and then go to my Adobe Live and just like paste it, right?
Right.
But there are times when you just like maybe I want to take this part and also some of this part. Maybe I'm sort of reviewing this. You can always stacking your sequence or your timeline into 2. We call it a pancake timeline. You can put it like this.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
We call this as a pancake timeline. So example, you have this. Like this is how I did it when I was like reviewing the footages for my interview. I was like, okay, I want to take this part.
Right.
I'm listening on top.
The sense
and I said, okay, I want to take this part. So I'm just gonna drag it. And then of course you gotta make sure you change sequence settings because you already like have a proper settings for that. So I'll just listen. Now I listen more here. Oh, I want to take this part. So just like select it and just drag it.
What? Okay, how did you make the pancake timeline? I need to know how you did that.
You just have to drag your sequence. Example, this one. And drag it down there.
Just
make
drag
sure
it
it's
down.
like at the bottom. Yes. So it becomes like a separated panel.
That's really great. That's super cool. I did not know you could do that.
Yeah, I think most of the wedding photographers, people who actually work with a lot of footages, example, if you edit like a TV shows or film, they use a lot of pancake timeline because you have to watch the whole scene, but you have to cut it into like maybe 5 minutes reel. So it's very challenging. It's always hard to have like 30 minutes shots scene and then cut it into like 5 minutes.
That's really
Sorry,
cool.
that's my cat.
I don't know about chat. Is it just me that didn't know about that, or is this like a really commonly known thing that I didn't know about? Because yeah, that's a massive time saver, especially working with bigger projects and trying to make a shorter version, or if you have like a 2 or 3 minute project and you just want a 5 second or 10 second version, that would be super great.
So I use this technique a lot when I was creating the highlights of the event.
Right.
As I mentioned, you should like 1 hour event, you just want to create a highlight of 5 minutes. So you're gonna like see all of that shots and just take the one that you feel like essential and important for you to highlight. That's all. So I will practice this for my events shots.
That's great.
So once you have all of your shots, like drag it into your pancake style, you can always go back and drag back your timeline back to usual tab in the tab form. And of course in Premiere Pro you can have as many as tabs, as many as sequence that you want, as long as your computer able to handle it. So I think it's fine. I think there's like actually 2 audios
existence.
Here. One thing about audio, right? I always capture 2 sources of audio. One that I capture was through my direct mic that I have on Rode mic on my camera. Rode mic is one of the, I think, brand actually really, really good in capturing the audio. I think I have no problem when I was like, since I've been working with using it for the past 6, 7 years. And then I also have another recorder that I'm going to just record using the lav mic, and then I will have it as my backup. Because you will never know, because example, the audio that coming from the video is only when you press the record button. If you accidentally not recording the video, you will not able to capture the audio.
Right.
So I think because right now, when you are like doing the interview, the important part is the audio, because you can always, example, if you don't have the visual, you can always add on another visual as a montage or as an insert shot. So I always make sure that my recorder is always recording all the way. So visual becomes second in this case.
Yeah, that's interesting,
Audio
isn't it?
becomes
Yeah,
the
if you
basic.
miss out on the audio, there's no interview. So it
Exactly,
makes,
you will not get the content because, as I mentioned, it's not a scripted thing. So you cannot just ask them, okay, read the script again and just send over the voiceover or something. You cannot do that. It's like it's there. It is what it is. You don't have it, then you don't get it. You don't get it, then you don't have it.
Yeah.
So the audio is very important. You have to monitor properly and stuff. That's why I have like two audio over here, as you can see. One that direct from the visual, which is from the recording itself, and also another one from my audio recorder that I record separately, but I make sure it's like timely synchronized when I was recording this. So I can mute this one. And one thing about example, if you have problem, I receive a lot of questions when they say, example, if I have a recorded version of my audio, how can I synchronize it with the one that I record on my video? Am I right?
Right.
How can you synchronize these things? That was very easy. Example, I have this shot, which is coming from my video. This is the audio that coming from my video, and I have this one, another one, which is my separated recorded audio. I can always just like select both, and you can just right click on this one and just synchronize. And then you just synchronize based on which audio track that you want to synchronize. Right, this one I want to synchronize on this audio number 1, track number 1, because it's the only thing that I want to synchronize with.
Is that because it's the one that's with the video included? Is that why you choose the first one? Yeah.
Yes. So that one becomes like my reference.
Yeah. Very
just
cool.
I gotta wait.
Just a little bit of history here. Before that button existed, I used to have to manually match things up. We did the same thing. Yeah, there may have been a smarter way to do it back in the day, but I didn't know what that way was, and we did creative mornings, which is like a talk thing once a month, and I'd have the same thing. I'd have a shotgun mic on the camera for a bit of ambience and a bit of a backup, and then we'd have a lav mic on the thing, and I used to get in there and line up, like zoom in really, really close and line up the peaks
and then,
of each of the things. Yeah. I did that for
using
years.
the waveform to actually manually readjusting it. That's what I did before I know that we have these synchronized things. I was like, what? I was like, okay, let's speed up my process a lot. So after you synchronize, you can see the audio automatically going to like synchronize it and put it all together in the right place. So I'm just gonna do it like that. That's very fast and easy. But no, sometimes when once I finish with that synchronization, I can just simply delete this one, and then example, if I delete this one, I will put this one up like this, and then I can just link everything's back, like this one, link it back, so it becomes like a new audio, and then just like, instead of having to mute that specific track. Right. But the thing is, what I did this like muting is because there are times when I like work with a bunch of these assets, you tend to accidentally moving the audio and also the visual, and then you didn't bring the partner together. So then you have to like synchronize again, and it becomes messier. So I like to have like a backup in case I lost this one, or like,
something goes wrong. Something can always go
if something
wrong.
goes wrong. Yeah. Yes, exactly. I'm just gonna keep it this way. So once you have like
the sense of
this part
existence.
So I like the part that when she mentioned like the sense of existence, I can actually have one gap over here and put something else. Right. So it becomes like one word kind of things, and it let the audience to wait and see what's happening, like give wonders, give a bit of suspense vibe for the audience, like what's happening. And I can put something. This is the one that I did, example for Adobe Max. After she mentioned something, she say about like there's one part she says a war. In any war
there's a victim.
And I put some visual.
Right.
Because it goes like general, and then you jump deep into what's happening if war happened and stuff. This is the consequences. You directly jump into what happened to that scenario.
Yeah.
So
actually, we're gonna have to call it there because we're actually almost out of time. I've just been sort of sitting back and taking it all in. Yeah, no, it's all good. We have part 2 for everybody watching as well. I'm sure you're as mesmerized as I have been listening to Naj talk about all this and all the process. I've already learned a whole bunch of things. And now that we're on to kind of adding B-roll and editing and things like that, I think now's a good spot to stop, and we're running out of time anyway. And yeah, we'll be back in 48 hours. So, you know, in Australia, it's on Thursday. In the US, maybe it's the day before or something like that. But in 2 days from now, we will be back here on Adobe Live. Naj, thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to picking up where we're leaving on Thursday.
All right. Thanks so much for having me, everyone. See you guys on Thursday.
See you then. Bye.